This week in CIST 1510, we'll look at Chapter 11, Publish, Promote, and Maintain a Website. So in this chapter, we're going to look at how to define, identify, and describe the forms of social media. Look at what a blog is, search engines, search engine optimization. We'll look at how to create a description meta tags, a site map file. We'll also look at domain name and top-level domains, the role of web hosting services. We'll also look at file transfer protocol clients, how to publish a website with an FTP client. We'll also look at how to explain how to register a website with a search engine, the website development lifecycle, also how to add a skip to content link, minify CSS file, look at project management for a website, and also define copyright and e-commerce. Okay, so after you've created, tested, and validated your website, the next step is going to be to publish to a web server. Now, for the web server, you also want to make sure that after you publish it, you take the appropriate steps to publicize, to promote the website so that potential customers or visitors can find the site. One thing to keep in mind with website design and development is that once you have your site completed, you need to make sure that you keep it up to date. You go back and check out any external links to other sites and your internal links. Make sure that your links work, your images load. Make sure your information stays up to date and it still is relevant. Now, one way we can promote our website is through social media. Social network, that's an online community where members post and exchange social media content. Social media does promote the word of mouth advertising because it gives you the opportunity to market your product, your website, and it also allows your users to share that information with their friends and people on their social media. Another good advantage of using social media is it allows that immediate contact. It allows you to post information that gets directly to your customers or potential customers, and also allows the engagement between the companies or between members of a community. One of the biggest social medias is Facebook. Okay, so it's a social networking site. It's got over 2 billion users. This includes individuals and businesses. Businesses can use Facebook to promote their product or promote their business through, they have advertising opportunities. You can have both paid ads on Facebook. You could also just create a page, and in that page you can create a link to your website and build your community through Facebook. So you can create a Facebook page. You can use that to create paid advertisements or free postings, where you can advertise your product, services. That gives the businesses or other pages or other individuals the ability to come in and like your business. They can share your content. You can create events. If you're having some kind of special event at a company, you can create those events and publish those and promote those on Facebook as well. Twitter is another social media network. Twitter lets you put a short comment. It's going to be known as a tweet. It's going to be limited to 280 characters. It does have marketing opportunities through Twitter also. YouTube is another social media website you can use where you can upload and share original videos. And you see that, YouTube's visitors watch several hundreds hours of video and generate billions of views every day. You can also purchase ad space on YouTube, and where you can target your audience. It can be something like a banner image is displayed in the lower part of the video, or it can be a full-length commercial that will play on the video. Instagram is another social networking site. Instagram is where members can upload and share photographs, images, and videos. Pinterest, then this members can browse and they can pin ideas found on the web. There are other social media options such as LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok. One thing to keep in mind is that you, as a business owner, as a web developer, when tying into social media, is that the time involved in keeping that social media content current and relevant. You want to make sure that you do have the ability to keep that up to date. Blogs are like an online journal. It's maintained by an individual, group, business. It's a place you can use to keep your customers engaged by using it through the business. You can also add Facebook and Twitter links to a website. You can also add links to the other social media as well. With this, you will add a social media icon and links to their website. Depending on the website you use, you can also use different plugins. For example, my website, my personal website, I use the links to my social media. I also have used a Facebook link so that any posts that are made in Facebook will be posted directly to my website. Would also include like the like button, so people visit my website can click and go straight to the Facebook page and go to my Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. I use WordPress, which is a content management tool to build my website. So with this, it's a plugin I can add into the website. Now you can also just add links to your website. Generally though, you'll put the social media links somewhere near the top or the bottom of the web page, somewhere where they're easily found. All right, so when you're looking for a website, if you know the address of the website, you know the URL, it's fairly easy to find. If you don't know the URL, you may use a search engine. So it's where you're searching, such as Google. Search engines, they will search for a specific business or content on the web, and it's going to be based off the keywords that are entered. Now, these use a robot, or bots or spiders. Those are programs that run automated tasks on the internet. So it goes through the web, search for keywords, it's going to be entered for the user, and then returns that in the search engine results. So that search engine results are going to be put in a database. So like I said, the popular search engines are Google, Bing, and so forth. Now with search engine optimization, this is the process of increasing the amount of traffic to a website. It improves the ranking of the site's search engine results page. So what this does, in this, you have impressions created every time a web page link appears in the search engine results page of a related query. A lot of the times, the effective SEOs, they have the key task of brainstorming keywords that describe the business. They use these keywords within the domain name, page titles, heading elements, meta description tags. You may, to improve your search engine optimization, you want to research your competitors, note the keywords they are using. Also, you want to optimize your images by using keywords within the alt text of the images. so robots cannot read text on images. So if you place them in the alt tag, they can be read then as well. Meta tags, this derives from the word metadata, which is information about data. So we'll go through and look at some of these meta tags. Okay, the Unicode transformation format. It's a compressed format that allows computers to display and manipulate the text. So we define this, we declare it with a meta tag. Character set is set to UTF-8. When we're adding meta tags, so I will see in the next slide some of these added in. We have the name attributes that can identify the type of information. Then the content attribute. Content attributes identifies the specific phrases or words that are required to appear as metadata. So we see here we have our metadata. We got the name set to description. The content, we got Ford Fitness Club is an elite fitness center dedicated to helping our clients achieve their fitness and nutrition. Okay, so it's a descriptive meta tag. Okay, this is a screenshot of some meta tag. Search engine results, Google snippets. And we'll look more at the meta tags a little later. All right, so when you're ready to publish a website, first thing you do is register a domain name, determine where you're going to host the website, and then publish the site. So to do this, you select and register a domain name. You select a web hosting service. Some of these will be combined. For instance, if you go to GoDaddy, you can register your domain and select your service there as well. And then you'll need to transfer your website files to the host server. So let's first look at parts of the domain name. Okay, domain name is the server name portion of the URL. All right, so we break this down. We have the .coms, that's a top level domain. That is something that we prefer for businesses. We have different ones like .edus for education, .org is for organization, organizations, .mil is for military, .gov is for gov, gov is for gov. So the .com, that's preferred for business. Now, if you want to determine if the domain name is available, you can start a search at the www.internic.net. Okay, so this is a website that's controlled by the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, or ICANN. All right, so after you do this, you need to host your site. There are some options for finding a hosting service. You can either choose a company that charges for web hosting services, or you can also set up or maintain your own web server. A couple of things you need to ask yourself once a web hosting service is selected is, first, what is the total cost? How much space is available? The connection speed, is it reliable? Is it enough for my needs? Is technical support provided? Also, are tracking services provided? So after you answer these and you find the web hosting site that will meet your needs, you need to transfer all your files to the web hosting server. Okay, one of the ways to upload these is through a file transfer protocol client program. Okay, so that's software that allows you to transfer files from a computer to a server over the internet. There are a lot of different FTP clients. Some of them are free. Some of them you do have to pay for. FileZilla, that's one of the free options. And it's available for multiple operating system platforms. Okay, so we see here an example of the FTP client. Okay, this one's connected to the remote server. So we serve a remote site directory and the file list. Okay, on this side here is our local. This is stuff that's stored on our computer. This is what the information that we're going to take from this side, and we're going to send it to the remote site. Once you have that, upload of your files will be transferred to the website. And once again, depending on the option you choose, you can publish the website. Some of them you can leave as a draft. Once you've uploaded your site, you want to make sure that you go through it and test all of the web pages. Make sure you correct any errors. Make sure that all of your links work correctly, all of your images are correct. Everything has been transferred from your local computer to your server. But after you finish this and everything is correct and everything works correctly, you want to make sure that you need to market your website. You want to attract visitors to your site. So you need to develop a marketing plan. All right, so the website itself, that's a passive tool. It really serves no purpose if no one ever visits it or never knows it's there. So you need to make sure that you you take the appropriate steps to promote and market it. Now, there are a couple of different ways to market your website. You can register your site with a search engine. You can add a business website to Google, Bing, or Yahoo. You can advertise through social networking platforms, social media. You make sure that you post social media posts on a regular basis. One way is maybe to write a guest blog or create a Google ad. One of the ways to market a website is also to add that website to your business cards, brochures, stationery, email signatures. You want that information out to the public. You may also want to advertise your website through email marketing as well. Be sure to tell people you meet about your website. So you use the word of mouth. You may also negotiate an agreement with another site to where you will link their site to your page, and they will link your website to their website. Okay, so in that case, you can generate traffic through somebody else's website and from their website. You can also use news groups that are specific to your industry to help promote your website. All right, our two most popular search engines, Google and Yahoo, and I'd probably put Bing in as well. You want to make sure that you register with your search engines. So after you put your meta tags in, the website is published and marketed, your website will be registered. We also need to talk about the website development lifecycle. So this is the process that we use for developing web pages, regardless of the level of complexity of it. Okay, so you start off with planning your website. From there, you analyze, you perform an analysis of your plan. You design and develop the site, then make sure that you test the site. After you test the site, you want to implement the site, followed by maintenance. Okay, maintenance is an ongoing process. Every time you go through maintenance, you may find something that needs to be corrected or fixed, and so you'll go back to planning. And so this is a life cycle that will keep going through the life of your website. So looking at each one of these steps individually, we'll start with website planning. That's the first phase of the web development lifecycle. In here, you identify the goals or purpose of the website, who will use the website, and the computing environments for most users. From there, we'll go to our website analysis, where you define the appropriate website content and its functionality. And this is where you involves decisions about the website content. So you determine the necessary content to facilitate the task, determine the useful information to users. Then we go into website design and development. In this, you need to define how to organize your web page content, select the appropriate website structure, How are you going to use multimedia? Addressing accessibility issues. Designing pages for international audience. And also determine the best way to provide navigation on the website. So once we design the site, we now move it into testing, where we validate each HTML page. Make sure our CSS validates. You want to check your site for any proofreading, grammar errors. Make sure that everything is spelled correctly. You want to check your links to make sure they're not broken. And also check graphics to make sure they appear correctly. You also want to make sure that the accessibility and internationalization issues are addressed. Load time is something else you would check. Make sure the pages are loading quickly, even if you have a low-speed connection. One thing you may want to do is print each page, also to see how it's going to look if it is printed. Also test the forms or any other interactive page element. Like I said, you want to make sure everything works on the site. All right, usability testing. That's where the users of a website and other products, they're asked to perform certain tasks, and in that they're measuring the website's ease of use and what is the perception of the experience of the users. So you're testing to see how well the product allows you to accomplish your goals. And when we talk about website testing, also in this, we need to look at the compatibility testing. So you want to test your website against a variety of browsers. For example, my website that I had pulled up, one of the backgrounds would not work with Apple products. So I had to go in and change the CSS to remove that if it was being viewed in that Apple Safari browser. You also want to do a stress test to determine how much of a load your website can take, how it will perform if multiple people, if a lot of people are using your website at the same time. So once you've done all of your testing in the implementation phase, you want to make sure that the website can be implemented. So this is where you're publishing the web pages to the web server. Use your FTP software. You publish it to the server. Once you've done that, make sure you go back through it and test all your pages again. You want to make sure that everything correctly went to the server. I've seen in the past where people have had images stored on their local computer, but not in the file directory for their website. For example, in the Analyze, Correct, and Improved, you'll see that I have a folder called Images. Now, when I load this website, okay, you'll see that I have everything loaded because everything is stored in this one folder. Okay, if this image here was not stored there, if I had this stored on, say, somewhere on my passport or my C drive and not in the correct folder, the pathway is going to be looking for this image on my C drive. Okay, so once I upload this to the website, this would not appear. So if I remove this, and for just right now, I'm just going to stick it on my desktop, and I upload this to a web server, you'll see that I have a broken image link here. Okay, but you notice I do have in this image where it's broken, I do have a description. So I want to make sure that I put this photo back in the correct place. So I want to make sure that I test my website out. and that all of my images, all of my links, everything is correct and works when I put the website on the server and make it live. Once again, maintenance is an ongoing issue. Okay, this is where you're going to do your updates to your content, updates any functionality. Monitoring is part of maintenance, maintaining a website. You want to check the Google Analytics. Your web hosting server may provide this as well, but we have data about the website usage, the traffic going to your website as well. Also, as a web developer, you want to review web pages. You want to check out the functionality and design of them. In those, you want to check the pages, not only those you think are good, but also those you think are designed poorly. You want to check them against your page, get ideas what maybe you could add to your site, or maybe you don't want to add to your site. Watch for trends on the web. Project management. This is where a team works together to plan, design, and develop and publish and maintain a website. A couple of jobs you have in this would be a project manager that oversees the entire project, maintains a timeline of the project tasks and goals. So the project manager really keeps everybody on task. A couple other things here is the designer will create the web design. The developer will develop the web pages. Your content specialist will develop the web page content. You may have a marketing professional that develops the marketing campaign. And also you may have a server administrator if you're using your local server, or even someone that can access and maintain the web server. It's getting to make sure that your content is up to date. It's an ongoing process. So if you got a new product, new service coming out, you want to add it, whether it is just into a video or an image. You want to make sure that it is highlighted and showcased. If you have regular press releases coming out, you want to make sure that you put those on there on your website, create a page for it. Maybe a page for client testimonials. And also make sure that you post to social media on a regular basis. We do have to be careful with copyrights. So you want to think twice before you download media to use on your website. So the person that created that media is going to be the owner of it. So they can have you pull down stuff from your website, or even sue you for copyright violations. Now, there are sometimes it's acceptable for use media from another source. For example, the Fair Use Act that pertains to the copyright material without the need for permission from the creator. A lot of times you're going to see this in education or news media. Creative Commons license that provides media content authors the ability to share work with others while maintaining ownership as well. A lot of your websites are going to be used for e-commerce, online businesses that conduct transactions online. These are your large retail websites, and also your small individually owned companies may have a website they sell on as well. This is a booming business. More and more companies are selling online. It does help them reduce the overhead costs for the storefront. It helps them spread the word about their product, sell their product, opens up from being just a local or a brick and mortar store in an area to now they have a worldwide market. Does have obstacles included with e-commerce, including identity theft and potential fraud. So this chapter we looked at adding social media icons to a website, went over what social media platforms are available, We looked at search engine optimization, how to publish and promote your website, make web pages more accessible by creating a skip to content link, and also improve the page loading times by minimizing the CSS file. We will look at those. All right, so we're going to look at the assignment for your chapter 11, Analyze, Correct, and Improve discussion. All right, so when we're through, our website will look like this. Okay, I've opened up the solution files for the CSS and the index, and we'll go through this as we walk through the project. All right, so the first step is to open the index.html file, and we'll update the comment at the top of the page, include your name, today's date, and we're going to do this for the styles sheet as well, and then we're going to have to link the style sheet into our HTML. So we'll start by placing our name, the file name, and today's date. We're going to do the same thing for the styles. All right, so the next thing we do is we have to put a link to our styles on our HTML page. Once again, remember this goes in the heading section. We'll put the link tab, relationship is style sheet, and then our href is linked to the CSS styles.css. We'll do a check on this, and let's see what the one thing is doing. I accidentally erased something. All right. Next step is to review the web page content and insert an appropriate title for this page. Okay, so we're going to go back to the index. We'll look at our content for the page. And we'll make sure that we put an appropriate title. Okay, so we can say that this page is over search engine optimization, SEO. So we're going to place that as the title for this. So let's change this, sorry, up here, and we'll put SEO in. Okay, next we're going to get into adding meta tags. So we're going to add a meta tag with the name attribute text set to description, and then we'll add an appropriate description to the meta tag. Okay, so I'm going to just copy paste this in. When here I'm adding the meta tag, I've set the name to description, and then the content. So the content is telling what is going on in this website, this page. So it's search engine optimization, includes the use of descriptive titles, descriptive meta tags, heading elements, image file names, and submitting a sitemap. All right, so the next part of the correct is I'm just going to add on the 2 paragraph elements, I'm going to update them to H1 and H2. So when I scroll down, I'll see the search engine optimization. So I'm going to update these to H1 and this one to H2. This is going to improve my formatting for these sections. All right, so the next section says in the image folder, review the image file names and modify them for search engine optimization. Then I'm going to update the index.html page to reflect the updated file names. So let's look at our file names in our image folders. We have image 1, image 2, and image 3. All right, so we need to update these for the correct images. So let's look at this. So we see here that this, we're going to name this one website plan. Okay, that's going to be a logo. It looks like the Facebook logo. And then the Twitter logo. So we'll see those located down in this area in the footer. So we'll start with this. We're going to rename the file. Website plan. Image 2, we're going to change this to Facebook logo. And finally, image 3, we're going to change to the Twitter logo. Now, looking at our web page, once we reload this, you'll see that these images do not load now. Okay, because of the fact that we have changed the name for those images, but yet in our HTML code, you'll see that they're still linked to the old images in our links. So we need to change the name of the images here. So I'm going to change image 1. And I'm going to change this to the Facebook website plan. Then when we look down in the footer, we'll see image 2 and image 3. So this is where we're going to change to Facebook logo and Twitter logo. Now, when I've done this, I've just now changed these names, but you've noticed that in my step, okay, I need to look at the alt tags for each one of these. For example, the alt tag here just says website, so I want to modify these for the SEO. So I'm really going to say what is going on in that image. So the first image for the alt tag, it's a man writing on a whiteboard. He's working on the website project. In there, he's putting out his ideas, project design, the information that he is placing in his image. So his idea, project, so he's writing out his steps. He's planning the website. And so by using this into the alt tag, those robots are now able to pull that information. So if they're searching for success or they're searching for testing, this information is now part of that results, whereas the bots will not be able to read it as part of the image. So the alt tag for the Facebook logo, I'm simply going to put as a Facebook logo. And I'm going to put Twitter logo in for the Twitter logo alt tag. All right, so next step, I'm going to link my social media icons to their respective pages. So I'm just going to go to their main page of facebook.com, twitter.com. And I want to specify the link to open in a new tab. Okay, so I'm going to set my target for this. I'm going to set it to blank so that when the user clicks on that link, it's going to open up in a new tab. One of the reasons why I want to open up links in a new tab rather than take my website to that site is that I want to retain the person to be able to come back to the location they left my site from. Instead of them going to somebody else's site, I want them to return back to mine. So I'm going to place my link here. And then make sure that I close my anchor tags. All right, so next I'm going to add my name to the paragraph element within the footer. Located here. Then I'm going to move over to the style CSS file. And here I'm going to create a style rule for the social media icons to provide more space between the icons. Because if we look now, we see that we've got just a small space. I'm actually going to launch a new one. Small space, so we need to update that. And I need to check on this file here to see why it's not working. So this goes back to the testing. Because so we'll look at where I changed this name. I changed it to websiteplan.jpg. The actual code I put in is the websiteplan.jpg. So we'll make sure I correct that. Okay, so now my image loads correctly. So I'm going to create a CSS to expand the length between the social media icons. So I'm going to go down to the footer area. So I'm going to create a new link here. So I want to create a little bit of padding in between those. So I'm going to increase this, say 3%. I'm going to say the footer images, the images found in the footer tag, put the padding at 3%. So when I refresh this, you'll see that I have a little bit more space located in my image between those icons. So I'm going to check this and say that I am at 100% here now. So the next part of my assignment is to go out and research and look at the keywords for the author and author meta tags. Is this something that's commonly used? And then you need to go to Blackboard and write your post on this discussion.